Welcome to part 4 of the LRA 1 videos. In this segment, we will focus on question 4, where you are tasked with creating 2 preliminary research questions. At this point in completing the LRA, you have a contemporary newspaper article, hopefully you've read and analyzed. You also likely have gone to Wikipedia and read some entries about your topic. In some RCI sections, you may have also collected and read a small set of reference encyclopedia entries. So you have some beginning knowledge about what you're doing, and you want to use this knowledge to help you write a couple of research questions. These are rough draft questions at this point, but they will guide you along your way. You can see here that, again, we are in the template, the Word document template for LRA number 1, question 4, writing preliminary research questions. And in a moment, I'm going to click on into a couple parts of the LibGuide that talk about the process of writing a quality research question. But before I go there, I want to just draw your attention to this italicized part of the question, this offering a set of helpful tips. And the first thing that it says is your research questions need to be written as like you're a historian, and historians ask questions about the past. And so that's one of the very first important things to ask, or parameters for your research question, is that the questions need to address concerns about the past. Typically, they address things about causes and effects of the past, those kinds of things. And they also, I want to draw on the last line here, that historians ask questions that don't always have easy answers. So that's another important element you need to think about, that you're not asking questions that have answers that someone can look up and simply say those are the definitive facts about that question. Typically, they are things that are far more open-ended. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and click again on this link to the library guide, which you've seen throughout many of these videos that I've produced. And as that comes up, I just want to remind you, because this starts at the top, that each of the LRAs, and you can see here from the left-hand navigation bar where I'm mousing over, that each of the 4 LRAs has a number of different tutorial materials that you can look at to help you with that tutorial, with that particular LRA. And so for LRA number 1, there's a number of different videos here about how to use particular databases, for example. But if we scroll down here to the bottom, there are 2 sections here, one about writing research questions, and then one that gives some example research questions as well. And I'm going to go ahead and just make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully it makes it a little bit easier to see. So basically what's listed here in terms of research question are 6 different points. And I'm just going to summarize some of them quickly in this video. I want to focus a little bit on this word debatable, which was bolded here for a purpose. I said a moment ago that historians often look at the cause and effect of events and phenomenon from the past. Well, one of the things that you can do to make your research debatable, your research question debatable, is by looking at the causes, or figuring out why you think, hypothesizing, if you will, about why you think something happened in the past. And that usually will have a number of different potential causes. And so what you can do to make something debatable is make a hierarchy out of those causes. So for example, saying something is the most significant cause of a particular phenomenon, or the most significant result, for example, could make that thing debatable. So that's one important point that you want to think about. I also want to talk about number 5 here, where it says, make sure your question is researchable. Well, one of the things that typically happens is that people start with a very large question or even a very general topic, like I'm just interested in gender discrimination. Well, you can't write this essay, cover gender discrimination across the entire world for all times. But one of the things you should start to do with your preliminary research question is to couch your particular research in a geographic area of the world or a particular time frame. And so that can also help you focus, and it can help you ask a significant and a researchable question. So, even if you're looking at sort of the cause of a particular historical phenomenon, which is common, you want to try to pick something where there's at least some discussion about the causes, and again, which are most important. You also want to be sure your research questions are not too broad. So as I was mentioning earlier, an example could be the history of death penalty is way too broad, but the history of how the death penalty came to be used or to be rejected perhaps in a particular culture at a particular time has far more potential merit. And finally, you'll actually see an example of a research question at the bottom of this flip guide. And I will go ahead and scroll down to that, which you should take a look through, because what it describes is sort of an early version, which is way too generic and unfocused, all the way to the steps you might take to make it a refined and better historical research question. So then it concludes the last of the 4 videos for LRA number 1. Please feel free to get a hold of me if you have questions about any part of LRA number 1. I'm going to scroll back up, as you can see here, to the part with my contact information, which is right here, my picture, email address, phone number, and then a link where you can schedule a half-hour consultation session with me via Zoom as well. So please feel free to use any of all of those potential options. Good luck with your research. Thank you.